Good day. My name is Joel Mingito from BSHM 3A, and now I will discuss the Article 3 Bill of Rights, Section 9 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Article 3 Bill of Rights, Section 9 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. It is included in this that there are procedures that the two sides must go through before buying the property. Even if it is for public use, the government must pay the owner. What is eminent domain? The government has the power to take or buy a property for public use. This always happens in government projects such as road widening or building a new road such as a bridge or train passage and etc. What is just compensation? This needs to be discussed by the two sides that the property being purchased by the government must be in the right price. Can you fight the price that is right against the government? The owner can complain that the money offered to them by the government is not enough, and they can fight a trial to increase it and give them what they deserved. The government has the right to take the land for the government project, and before starting, you should have agreed on the price depending on what they talked about when the government will give the payment for the land. But if this a delay, they can file a case against them because it is against human rights. How it is applied and used in our daily lives. Article 3, Section 9 is that we can apply it and use it in our daily life in ways that benefit us. Just like the public road that makes it easier for us to go to the place we are going to. Because of this, huge funds have been allocated of the government so that we can be comfortable in our daily lives and make our daily activities easy.
Article 3, Section 10 states that no law impairing the obligation of contract should be passed. To impair means to interfere with something. This means that a law cannot be made that would stop a contract from being enforced. If someone has a contract telling them to do something, they cannot get out of it. They have to do what the contract says they have to do. In our daily lives, this constitutional provision protects our right as individual when entering into a contract. It ensures that the term and condition agreed upon in a contract will be upheld by the law, providing stability and predictability in our transaction. Whether it's a rental agreement, a loan contract, or a business contract, this provision safeguards our contractual right and promotes fairness and justice in our interaction with others. For example, if you borrow money from a lender and sign a loan agreement, this provision ensures that the lender cannot later pass a law that reduces the interest rate or alters the repayment terms, thereby protecting your rights as a borrower.
Hello everyone, I am Nilhar Makalala from BSHM 3A. So today I will be discussing the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the Article 3, Bill of Rights, Section 11. So Section 11 are free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies, and adequate legal assistance shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty. So, what is Section 11 all about? Section 11R means it emphasizes the principle ensuring equal access to legal processes for all individuals. So, regardless of their financial status, it suggests that people should not be denied access to their courts or quasi-judicial bodies due to their poverty. Additionally, it highlights the importance of providing adequate legal assistance to those who may not have the financial means to afford it on their own. So, this kind of provision is often aimed at promoting fairness and justice justice within a legal system. So, free access to the courts. It means it implies that individuals, regardless of their financial means, should be able to approach courts without facing economic obstacles. Next statement are quasi-judicial bodies. This means that ensure that various dispute resolution mechanisms, administrative tribunals, or other quasi-judicial bodies are equally accessible to all individuals. The third statement is adequate legal assistance. So, the provision for adequate legal assistance recognizes that legal representation can be crucial for a fair and just legal process. So, individuals should not be denied free fair and solely because of their inability to afford it. So, this may involve the provision of legal aid or other mechanism to ensure everyone has a fair chance in legal proceeding. So, next is how it is applied and used in our daily lives. So, through promoting equal access to justice in daily life, it means that individuals, regardless of their financial status, should have the right to seek legal recourse, participate in a legal processes, and receive necessary assistance to ensure a fair legal representation, and ensuring that justice is not restricted based on economic circumstances. And also, legal aid service can apply. Access to free legal aid service should be available to those who cannot afford legal representation. And also awareness and education. So this can empower people to assert their rights when needed. So we can also apply it in a situation like a criminal defense. So in criminal cases, individuals have the right to legal assistance. And Section 11 ensures that the right is not denied due to poverty.
Good evening to all of you. Today I will talk about the Article 3, Section 12 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. So, what is the section all about? It said that any person under investigation for the commission of an offense shall have the rights to be informed of his rights to remain silent and to have competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice. And if the person cannot afford the service of counsel, he must be provided with one. And these rights cannot be waived except in writing and in the presence of the counsel. Number 2, no torture, force, violation, threat, intimidation, or any other means which vitiate the free will and shall be used against him. And secret detention places, solitary, incommunicado, or other similar forms of detention are prohibited. Number 3, any confession or admission obtained in violations of this or Section 17 hereof shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. And the last, the law shall provide for penal and civil sanctions for violations of this section, as well as compensations to the rehabilitations of victims of torture or similar practice and their families. Or in another word, this section is about the protecting the rights of people being investigated for a crime. It says they have the right to stay silent, get a lawyer, and not be forced or threatened. It also bans secret detentions and makes sure any confessions are obtained fairly. If their rights are violated, there are legal consequences and victims may get compensations and rehabilitation. Next is, how is it applied and used in our daily lives? Here's a scenario. For example, you are a suspect involved in a shoplifting incident. First, you have the right to remain silent and legal counsel. or upon being questioned by the police, you are informed of your rights to remain silent, and if you're feeling uncertain, you decide to exercise the rights until you consult with a lawyer. The second is written waiver and the presence of the counsel, or after requesting a lawyer, you consult with the legal counsel before providing any statement. If you decide to speak, it's done in writing and in the presence of your attorney. And the third is prohibition of coercion methods, or the investigating officers must adhere to the law, refraining from using any coercive methods like threats or intimidation to obtain information from you. Number four is the detention conditions, or you are held in a standard detention facility without any secret or undisclosed location. Solitary confinement or excommunicado detention is strictly avoided. And the fifth is the inadmissibility of unlawful obtained evidence, or if the police use any unlawful tactics to obtain a confession, that evidence would be considered inadmissible inadmissible in court, ensuring only legally obtained evidence is used. Number six is the legal consequences for violation. Any violation of your rights during the investigation can result in legal consequences for law enforcement, providing a safeguard against potential abuses. And number seven is the compensation and rehabilitation, or should you face mistreatment during the investigation, you have the right to seek compensation. Additionally, provision exists for rehabilitation measures to address any emotional or psychological impact on you and your family. In this personal scenario, this legal safeguard ensures that your rights are protected, promoting fairness, due process, and the preservation of individual freedom throughout the investigation. And that is all. Thank you.
Good day, I am Eunice Carlago. I will discuss the Section 13 of Article 3 in the Bill of Rights. All persons, except those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua, when evidence of guilt is strong, shall, before conviction, be bailable by sufficient sureties, or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. This section pertains to the right to bail in the legal system. It ensures that individuals, except those facing serious charges with strong evidence, have the right to be released on bail before conviction. The provision also emphasizes that the right to bail remains intact even during the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus and prohibits excessive bail. In our daily lives, this section safeguards the rights of individuals accused of crimes by allowing them the opportunity for pre-conviction release under reasonable conditions. It ensures a balance between the interest of justice and the protections of individual liberties. Imagine a person arrested for a non-violent offense with moderate evidence against them. According to Section 13, this individual has the right to request bail. The court would then assess the circumstances, considering the severity of the charge and the strength of the evidence. If the evidence is not strong enough to warrant reclusion perpetua, the person may be granted bail, allowing them temporary freedom until their trial concludes. This application of the section maintains the principle of presumed innocence until proven guilty and prevents undue imprisonment during the legal process.
The next section under Article 3 is Section 14, where it states that no person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of law. What is due process? Due process is the legal requirement that the state must respect all rights that are owed to a person. Due process balances the power of law of the land and protects the individual person from it. Article 3, Section 14 talks about the defendant has the right to defend his side. First of the defendant's right is presumption of innocence. In the Philippines, every defendant is innocent until proven guilty. Second, right to be heard by himself and counsel. This refers to having a lawyer to defend the defendant. Third, right to know the accusations against him or her. Fourth, right to speedy trial, impartial, and public trial. Justice delayed is justice denied. The longer the case goes on, and the longer the suffering of the people involved in it. For example, if the prosecution prolongs the trial without sufficient reason, the defendant may be released due to the violation of his right to a speedy trial. The defendant's right to have his case heard by a judge who is not biased in the case. The right to public trial states that the trial to be held must be open to public unless the content of the case is sensitive.
The defendant has the right to see or confront the witness to assess his credibility.
What if the defendant does not attend his trial?
The case can still roll even if the person being sued is not present by the virtue of the trial in absentia.
If the suspect has been given enough, adequate notice but fails to attend his trial, the case will still roll and the aforementioned rights will be forfeited.
How is it applied and used in our daily lives? Well, I am just a normal Filipino citizen, a student in college to be exact. They can sue me or accuse me for cheating if they don't have evidence because that's what most of the students do during quiz or exams. And if they do have some sort of evidence, like a picture or video of me cheating, then that's the time to use my rights under Article 3, Section 14, the due process of law. But until proven guilty, I am still a normal student.